Hello, and welcome along to today's lunchtime stream. So as per normal on a lunchtime, kind of just going to go and jump straight in. Today my intention is to spend a little bit of time on this Cake module, which is known as Cake.DotNetTool.Module. For those of you that don't know what that is, what it is, it's a module for Cake that allows you to add additional or different preprocessor directives. So what I mean by that is, if we have a look in here and we look at some of the documentation for what we have, then let's look at the usage and the examples. So it allows you to do things like this. So with Cake out of the box, when you do a tool preprocessor directive, then the expectation is that that tool is going to come from NuGet. And for a lot of tools, that works because folks publish their tool to NuGet in a standard NuGet package, and you can do tool preprocessor directive, NuGet, and then the package name and then the version, and it will all install to the tools folder as you want it to. So that works. What this module does is it brings in the capability to install a .NET Global tool. So rather than installing a NuGet package that happens to have a tool, this module allows you to use the tool preprocessor directive with the .NET starting point rather than NuGet. And then what it will do is it will then defer to the .NET install command. So at the command line, you could then do .NET tool install package name, and it will then run the .NET tool and install that there. So if I were to list out what I've currently got, is it list global? Yeah, I don't actually have any tools installed on this machine using the .NET Global tool, but this is what the tools, the module, the .NET Tool module is for. So essentially what it's for. Hello, Kim, in the chat room. Welcome to have you along. I'm just going over what I'm intending on looking at today on this lunchtime stream. But before I do that, I have to show you and the other folks in the chat some cool things that I found. So let's do it this way. Actually, there's two extensions for Visual Studio Code that I wanted to make you aware of because they're awesome. They're amazing. Right, so the first one I wanted to point out, in case you haven't seen it, is an add-in called Peacock, and it's by John Papa. Now, if I go ahead and install this, it's quite clever, right? And it's entirely useful. So what Peacock does is it allows you to set a color preference for change to our favorite color. It allows you to change the border of the Visual Studio Code instance to one of your choosing. So you can make it blue, purple, green, anything you want, right? Now, why is this amazing? Well, if I just go with the cyan one as an example, I sometimes have multiple projects open. So I might have chocolatey code, I might have cake code, I might have Git tools code. By colorizing the individual instance of Visual Studio Code, it becomes easier to find it when I've got multiple windows open because it does it in the screenshot that you get when you tab through it as well. And it then adds itself into your settings.json file. So it will remember the color associated with the project that you've got open in Visual Studio Code. It's very cool, right? So that was the first one, because I've started using this. The other one that I wanted to make folks aware of was, and this one came from Martin on the Cake team, it's called Polar Code, as in, I think, Polaroid. It's very cool, right? I'm not entirely sure where I would use this, but I like it. So what Polar Code does, so to clarify, Kim, yes, if you check that code, if you check that settings.json file into your source control repository and commit it, then it will be there. But it will still always be on your file system, so even if you don't want to commit it, it'll still be on your file system. So Polar Code is this thing. right? Let's open Polar code. So what it can do is, let's get rid of this and do it again. Let's get rid of this, and I'm going to do Polar code. And it's going to open up on the right-hand side, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select some text here, and then it's going to give me the option to do a nice screenshot. I could literally click this button, and it'll take a picture of the code that I've just selected on the left-hand side here. Let's do another one. Let's go in some of the source code and into module, and we'll look at the .NET module as an example. So let's do that again and say I wanted to grab this code. Then obviously in a bigger resolution screen it works a little bit better, but you get click a button and you get a picture of the code in a nice sort of, it's pretty cool, right? And hello Maurice to you too. So it's getting cold, right? So most of you'll know. I'm in my garage. I'm outside in my garage, and I start work at 7 o'clock each morning. And when I come out here, the heating hasn't been on all night, so it is cold out here. And by the time my room starts, I've literally been sitting with a second jacket on. I've now come down from 2 jackets to just my hoodie. But normally I kind of sit like this at my desk, trying to get some work done. But I'm starting to thaw out a little bit, and I have got my chocolate hat on, because it is a nice hat. I got it from Stevie on the team. It's a really nice. It's got. Have you guys seen it? Hold on. It's got like chocolate logo on the back. So it's a very nice hat, is what it is. So part of me doesn't trust it. I wouldn't want the heater to be on out in the garage if there's nobody out here to monitor it. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it, right? Anyway, so those were the 2 Visual Studio Code extensions I wanted to let you know about, because they're awesome, really, right? So what we're actually going to look at today is this module, and the reason that I'm looking at this module. Hi Arthur, you've just joined. Welcome along. Have you, Arthur, played with the latest Git Release Manager that was pushed out, or have you not got to that yet? I'm curious to see if it actually works for your use case. So the reason that I've kind of switched away from Git Release Manager for a second to look at this is because, in the same way that I was kind of brought back to Git Release Manager, is there's been some pull requests went in, and this I'm not even going to try. Oh no, it's Christian. Proc now. I don't know. Anyway, Christian has submitted a couple of pull requests into this repository, and I wanted to get them reviewed and get them merged in. Arthur saying I updated it in the Git version code base, but not tested on a new release yet. Perfect. I'd be interested to hear if it works for you, because I'm going to circle back around to Git Release Manager again, because I've still got a couple of things I want to get added into it. But I want to know that what went out in this release works. That would be great. Thank you very much. So what Christian has noticed is that there is a kind of there's a use case for this module, which is if you're attempting to install a tool, and for some reason it fails because one of your feeds, one of your configured sources doesn't work correctly, there is an additional flag that is ignore failed sources. And I can't remember so I went and checked because I didn't remember this flag being there. So I wonder if it's a newer flag that's been added into a newer version of the .NET SDK since I first created the module. So it makes perfect sense to me. So ignore failed sources because those sources might not be authenticated, and you don't necessarily care if your package was resolved from somewhere else. So the addition of this makes total sense to me, and it's actually quite a simple addition. So Christians went and said if the URL that is the tool preprocessors directive includes ignore failed sources, then simply append an argument to the command that is sent to the .NET Tool install command, and off it goes. He's also done a really good thing, which is to include into the documentation an example of how you would use that, which is great. So all in all, this looks good to me. The only thing I want to do is I want to update it to the latest head of the develop branch. So what I've done prior to this was let's clear this and do a git remote -v. I've added in a remote that is to Christian's repository. So if I go ahead and check out that branch, which is issue 14, so if I do git, let's see if this will work, git switch issue 14. It did. Beautiful. I'm going to throw that change away just now because I don't want that. I don't want that settings file just now. Not for this project anyway. Why is it giving me more than mother? Oh, I know where that is. That's fine. So if I do a git rebase on to develop, then mother Hubbard. So this is annoying, and maybe one of you can help me. So when I clone this repository onto this machine, immediately there was a modification to this solution file. Now I took that to mean that there was something in the git attributes file for this project that was changing the line types. So on my develop branch, I said, that's fine, let's just accept it, and I did a commit. So my local repository is ahead of where the pull request is. Now I've just switched to that pull request branch, and I want to rebase it onto the head of the develop branch, but I can't because there's a modified file, and I can't reset the modified file because the git attributes file is continuing to modify it. So how does one get around that? Because I'm at a loss as to how to do that. So does anyone have a good suggestion as to how to get around this? So that was the thought that just went through my head, but that seemed like a little bit of... That seemed a little bit like cheating. Let's try it. Temp. So git rebase on to develop. And then let's have a look and see what it thinks it's now got. And now that commit is gone because it was not there anymore. Oh, was it? Yeah, that's the one I created just before the stream started. Those are the two ones that are on there. So how has it known to get rid of that commit? Was it just because it didn't make any changes? Because to all intents and purposes, it is gone now. So while I'm fixing that out, let's push this to the upstream. Yeah. So that was. I think we're on the same page, Kim. I think that makes sense. So this PR will now be getting. It'll be rerunning the CI again for it. Why is it not running the CI for it? Have I not set up CI for this project? Hold on. CI.appbear.com. Cake.config. .NET.Tool. It did. I do have. Why is that not? Why is that not triggering a build? I'm confused as to what's going on there. I don't want to get sidetracked by investigating issues that. Why is that not? What does this do again? Skip branch with PR. No, it should still. Well, that's broken as well. We should fix that at some point. We'll skip the branch build itself, but should still. Yeah, okay. Curious. Okay. I mean, I'm reasonably happy that this. I'm just gonna let's just merge it. If it fails to build, we'll fix it. And we'll say here, we'll do this, and we will merge that. And that was for issue 14, which will go out on the next milestone, which will be 0.4. And then this is going to be an improvement because the feature already existed, and I'm going to say that this was closed. Cool. So then the other PR is to fix a typo, and that's wholly possible that there is a typo. Let's see what the issue says. I would like to specify custom NuGet.config with config file in the tool URL. However, it fails because the argument passed to .NET is mistyped. The argument is actually config file rather than config-file. That's wholly possible. .NET tool install. Oh, look at that. Absolutely. So let's assign this to the milestone pull over here. This is almost certainly a bug. So let's go back to this PR and let's just see what's going on here. I'm imagining that this is just going to be config file. So let's do a quick sanity check of the rest of the code base just to make sure that config-file isn't used anywhere else like documentation, which it's not. So, okay then. That looks good to me then. So what is his PR branch called? His PR branch is called fix issue 13. So let's do git switch to develop. There we did. and then git switch to fix issue 13. That's going to have the same problem. Git status. That's kind of annoying. Git dot git commit -m temp, and then git. We'll need to fetch our upstream first. Git switch develop. Git fetch upstream. Git rebase upstream develop. Git push origin. Let's go back to that other branch, which is that one. Git rebase on develop. And let's have a look and see what it's telling me this time round for this one. So again, it's just a fix. Beautiful. Okay, so git push -f to proc. Let's see if that one worked, which was the merge. Let's see if the PR build flows through this time round. So let's push this up to Christian's branch. That kicks off. Why is... I'm going to have to investigate this project to see why PR builds aren't working. Because... oh, it did work. Worked that time. Let's put that down to a glitch in the matrix, shall we? I don't understand why that wouldn't have went out the first time. But let's see if this PR build runs. And then there's one other thing that is slated for the next release of the .NET Tool module, but it's one that I've been putting off, and I'll explain why. So there's an open issue by Matthias, and no, it's not because Matthias raised it that I haven't done it. So it's nothing like that. But basically, to me, it's a failure of the .NET tool, right? So what Matthias is saying is, if I change my preprocessor directive to be... oh, what? The coveralls check failed. Oh, do we need a... oh, we'll need a new test. Where are you seeing that? On coveralls.io? Hold on. On where? So, what are you looking at? What are you looking at, Kim? How are you seeing that it went, without going to coveralls.io, how are you seeing that that came down? I'm going to wait for a response on that. And then... we're grabbing a screenshot of it. Cool. I suspect I know why it went down. Because an additional argument was passed in and we didn't add a unit test for it. So we should add a unit test for it. But we can do that once this PR's... because, yeah, going back to this one, what Matthias is saying is if I change... if he updates to a newer version of Git version.tool, so you went from 53 to 58, it won't use the new version, but that's not what's expected when pinning a version. So if it differs, one should be able to run .NET Tool uninstall and then install. Now, the reason that I think this is a problem is because the tool should do that. It shouldn't be the responsibility of this module to kind of sanity check itself. Oh, what? Go away. Some checks. Oh, I'm curious. What is that? Okay, you're gonna have to. Is that a Chrome extension? Because I don't have that. And that's the. Oh, that's the overall. So that's. Hold on. Where are you even getting that? That's okay. You're gonna have to tell me what extension have you got installed there, Kim? I think I'm going to need to install it. Is that just a coveralls extension? More tools, extensions, coveralls. You've got several. Okay, come back to that one then. Why is that not showing me many extensions? Come back to that. Okay, so that PR passed. So I'm going to say that this is good. So we can go ahead and merge this. Merge, confirm merge, and we're going to say thank you very much. Alright. And then the issue, the related issue, we already assigned to the milestone, so all we need to do here is close it out, which is this one. So I thought I had that one. Because at some point I did have that installed. But let's go and put it in. Add to Chrome. Sure. Turn on sync. Yeah, not just now. I don't think I'm signed in yet. Am I? That's maybe why. Oh, that's maybe why. But if I go back to here then, and I do a refresh. Do I see this here? Oh, look at that. Interesting. So that, well, let's just have a quick look to see if it is what I thought it was. So if we look at our tests, then in here, we have some tests for this one, and we test if the URI is null. Should be able to install if scheme is correct. The install method. So if install path is null. Package reference. That's a check to see if it's using .NET rather than Homebrew. We probably haven't got any tests for the parameters. So what we should do then is we should go back and we'll create an issue that says add unit tests for parameters which can be passed to preprocessor directive. And we'll take this out. I'm going to say that that's going to be an improvement, and we'll do that onto this one as well. Right. So if we look at what Matthias is saying, and let's continue to use his example, which is git checkout develop git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream develop, git push option. So we're back to the beginning. Okay, so his example is if we run this. So let's use git version as an example. So if I go ahead and run there, so that will install the git version tool locally to my .tools folder, and it will install version 53, right? So if we go in and drill into that, and we look in our tools folder, then we now have a .store folder, we've got git version tools, and we've got version 53, right? If I then do that same command again, but this time I install 58, then it says tool git version is already installed, right? There's no mechanism to upgrade a tool. Oh no, there is. There's an update now. Hold on. There didn't used to be an update. So can we can specify a version. I wonder. Let's. I'm having a thought. Let's do an uninstall git version .tool. It's local, that's why. How do you install? Oh, we need to go to tools path. Tools, tool path. Okay. Not sure then, Kim, because what I'm going to try now, can I do this? Where's my 53 version of it? What happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? Ooh. So, it's put 53 back in, right? Let's sanity check that. Uninstall .NET Tool git version. So git version tool's gone, right? If I just realised my head's kind of in the way a little bit. Let's move this up a little bit. So let's do a .NET Tool update again to 53. That will put version 53 of git version tool in here. Let's put 58 in. What will that do? Dun dun dun. Drum roll. Ooh, 58. Okay. So what I'm thinking now is I'm not going to run .NET Tool install anymore. I'm just going to run .NET Tool update. And as a result, you're always going to get the version that you specify in the preprocessor directive. So that means I don't have to do a sanity check. I don't have to uninstall. But you may not have the ability to run the program now. What do you mean? As in the tool, git version tool? Why would I not have the ability to run? Needing to run through .NET. Yeah, I'm not clear on what you're saying there, Kim. So needing to run through .NET to be clear, I don't know. During install, an executable is added in the tools directory, right? Oh, you're talking about this one. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, hold on. So let's take this out. I think I see what you're getting at. So if we go back in, so let's do them all. I see. So we're back to the beginning, right? So now if we do an update, does it also put one? It also puts, that's the one that you're talking about, right? So it did add it. So now I can run .NET Git version and it works. And remind me, does it have a version? To get the current version. Oh, it's just slash version. Slash version. Okay, so it's 53. So now if I do an update to 58, the exe is already there in the tools folder. And if I run that, oh, why is that not giving me 58? Did it not actually update it? That would be annoying. Oh, hold on. I thought I ran. I did. Oh, hold on. It's put it in tools, hasn't it? Because that's where my path is. Oh, idiot. Okay, sorry. Let's take that out. Let's do this test all over again. Okay, so let's come out of this path. So I'm in my tools folder. Right, so I'm here. So I'm going to do .NET Tool update to 53. Boom. Then I'm going to run tools .NET Git version with a slash version. And it's going to tell me it's 53. Beautiful. Let's do a .NET Tools update to 58. And then run .NET Tools Git version. Look at that. I think I have a solution. So, what does that look like in the code? How much time have I got? I've got 21 minutes before I have to do anything. So, is it going to be as simple as, I just thought of something else, .NET Tool install help .NET Tool update help. So they both look in global. They both have the concept of a local and a toolpath and a config file and an add source and a tool. Why are these in different orders? That's just ignore failed sources, no cache, interactive, help, and verbosity. I think I can cheat. I think I can cheat and I can just call. I think I can just do this. I think it's going to be as simple as that. I really do. And the code that Matthias was saying that I was currently doing, which is in here, already installed. First, we need to check if the tool is already installed. We don't know. I don't think we need to do that at all. just take it out? I don't know why I'm whispering when I'm doing that, but I am. So, was that calling get install tools? It was. I don't think we need this at all anymore either. Oh, look at all that code I can just throw away. I can just take it away. Let's just delete it. I love it when I can delete code. Right. Install tool, get arguments, tool update, yada yada yada. Okay. No, we don't do our regular expressions anymore. We can take them out. Huh. Okay. Let's see if the build works. And then there is a test script here. So what does it do? It pulls the module from the pre-release that is, and then it attempts to do the install. It's not exactly what we need, but okay. So Kim, you mentioned earlier that the update was there from 2.1. I don't suppose you have a date for when 2.1 was available, do you? I'm wondering if it predates. Ooh, that's a good point. Will always update to the version specified, even if that version is installed. But again, that's a failure of the .NET Tool command. Is it not? It should be doing sanity checking to see whether it actually needs to do an update. And if you want to force it, you force it. Copy clipboard. .NET Tool, .NET CLI, install or update command. Currently, the .NET Tool update command will always reinstall the latest version of the tool, even if it's already installed and is up to date. This is slow and wasteful. And that's exactly what I said. Add a force argument. Option to keep the current behavior though. Alternatively, if you want to change the current behavior, no force. So what's our discussion? Kathleen Dollard. Should we put the issue in the backlog or not? I moved it to the backlog, but I'm open to closing it based on the discussion you had with Kathleen already. I think we have moved this problem forward with the other changes. I don't think we have solved the specific problem of repetitively downloading tools being wasteful. There are backwards compatibility concerns. I think we should better understand the scenarios where this waste is important, and I want to be consistent with NuGet behavior. Well, NuGet wouldn't do it. In our case, the build process involves several steps, including a number of .NET Global tools. We want the latest version to be used. The current wasteful approach will lead to a lot of unnecessary downloads each time they build. You've put a pin in my idea, Kim. So then it becomes a question of should hold on, I'm actually thinking that I was a little bit. I'm just thinking that I've maybe been a little bit too harsh with the check that I was doing. Because if we do, let's back it out. Let's put my regular expression back in. So this is getting the list of installed tools either globally or locally. And based on that, it is parsing. Do I even get the version number currently? Pattern installed matches. No, I see I'm getting the package version, but I'm not doing anything with it. So I could get it. So installed tools names becomes installed tools. And then we could either call update or install. We could just call update at that point. So rather than, what does install tool do? Install tool does installing .NET tool, yada yada yada, get arguments, 30th of May. Oh, thank you very much. Let's have a look. Let's have a little look. I'm curious. Well, there's only 42. Older. Dang it, it was there. I wonder why I didn't opt to use it. Never mind. Okay, so let's think this through. So, I'm curious as to what this is doing. Oh, this is a module, that's why. I'm sitting going through my head, why are we doing all this work with the process settings, but we're a module. We don't have the tool object that a normal add-in does. So, we could, in theory, add in a flag. Okay, so let's back up a step. I'm going through my head. Return install as a new list. So I think what we need is we need a new class. And that class is a new file called .NetTool.Package.cs. Right? And that's going to have a namespace that is going to be the same as. Can I split down? Oh, take you out. So what namespace are we in? We're in Cake.DotNetTool.Module. And we're going to have a class that's called public sealed class .NetTool package. That's going to have a property that is a string that is the package ID. That's going to have a prop that is the got.net. In fact, let's make this a little bit simpler. Let's just call it version. Don't need package ID. And the other one that I saw there was string short. Shit. Apologies. Short code. Right. So rather than return a rather than return a list of strings, this is going to return a list of .NET packages. And then that's going to be .NET Tool package. And then .NET Tool package. And then we're going to return it. So when we add one, we're going to want to say new .NET Tool package. Let's give it a U a second. Then that's going to be the ID equals that. Its version is going to be, I might want to put that onto a new line. Put this whole thing onto a new line. Missing that. And then version equals match.groups. Package version dot value. And then the other one was the shortcode. So shortcode equals match.groups dot package. Seriously, come on. Package. I should stop. Package.shortcode.value. Right. Okay. So we're now getting a list of all the tools that are installed. So then when we go up here and we check to see if, first we need to check if the tool is already installed. Then I don't want to do that necessarily. Let's keep it around until the side. So in here, if installed tools dot any package dot ID equals package. Okay, fine. To lower invariant, sure. Right. Well, when both package and correct version installed, you probably, yes, so that was, so in here, for the ease of my sanity, we'll do an install tool package tools folder directory path, and this is going to be perform update. Oh, so this is going to be true. And to be explicit, I'm going to put this in here as false. Right? And basically, I'm going to have another if statement in here that says if the requested package version is the same as the one that's already installed, then don't do it. But if it's different, and more importantly, if it's higher, so what does update do? Hold on. So we're in here, and we've got git version 58 installed. What happens if we do an update to 53? What do we think is going to happen? The requested version is lower than existing version. Magic. See, it doesn't. It says it complains. So there is a scenario where we might have pinned to a previous version, or we might have pinned to a version of a .NET Global tool in our Cake build script, and we change it, and we try and put it back to an earlier version of the .NET tool. In that scenario, the module would have to perform an uninstall and then a reinstall. That's messy. That's messy. .NET tool update. Let's make sure I don't miss something. I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is, if we're in this scenario, no, you're saying here. So the long and short of it is, I'm not going to get this finished in the next 2 minutes. Sorry, yeah. So when true, perform an uninstall. But then that's a wasteful operation as well. But then update essentially does that, doesn't it? Okay. I'm not going to finish it in the next 2 minutes. So I'm gonna shelve this and come back to this. The bottom line is, we want the tool preprocessor directive to just do the right thing. And the right thing is, but there's also the possibility that they haven't specified the version. So if it's already installed and you haven't specified a version, I don't know whether to update it or not. I need to uninstall it at that point. If it's there and you haven't specified a version number, I should call update. In that scenario, I have to call update because I don't know what the version is. It would, because then I wouldn't have to worry about that. So if it's already installed, uninstall it, and then install it. And that's essentially back to what Matthias was saying. He just uninstalls it and reinstalls it because there's too many ifs and buts and maybes for scenarios there. So if it's installed, uninstall it and install it again. Yes? If no version is specified, well, I agree with that, but we're at the same scenario. So if you have a .NET tool installed that's version 15, and you say add it again, so we run that script again, then it's gonna want to check to see if it's there. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. No, we can't do that. If you don't specify a version and it's already there, then you have to leave the one that's there. Because, oh, do you? Because that would mean it's checking every single time the build runs. I think we should do what I was doing. If there is a discrepancy between the versions, if you haven't specified a version and it's installed, you leave it. If you have specified a version and it's different from the one that's installed, uninstall and reinstall it. How does that sound? Because otherwise, your build would potentially... Now, okay, but that is a... I was going to say that your build will potentially break, but that's essentially what will happen. Okay, so let me ask you this. You see, currently, I'm just thinking how the current tool preprocessor directive works. If you don't specify a version, then if there's a new version available, it's going to install it. Okay, I'm going to think about this some more, because I need to go back and do some work. So I'm going to call it a day. I might be continuing with this on Monday. Not sure. I would like to get back to Git Release Manager, because there's some cool things I want to do in Git Release Manager. So I want to get back to that. I also want to get back to Cake.Recipe at some point, but I've kind of been sidetracked a little bit from Cake.Recipe. But these things happen. But for now, thank you for coming and joining me on my lunch hour. It's always good to have some chats with you guys. Okay, that's me for just now. I'm going to sign off and have a good weekend, everyone, and we will talk to you on Monday. Thank you very much.